What's going on, guys? Pilot here. A bit of a different video here. I'm going to give you guys a little look at my workshop. Little known fact about me, I am a aspiring or amateur prop maker, and I work on a lot of kind of video game related stuff. As I have all dotted around here, we'll go into the details. But first of all, I'll show you what I use mainly. This is my printer. This is Ender 3 Pro by Creality, and it's went through various upgrades, both upgrades you can see such as this and that, and I've printed this to feed my filament, and this is what you actually use. This is what it starts out like. So 3D printing starts out as a plasticky wire, and then that feeds in here, and then it gets fed into here, which gets super hot, and then it prints it out as a gunk, and then the gunk hardens when it hits this. This is also heated, and it builds up and it goes up in layers like that, and that's how you get stuff printed. So I've also installed a silent motor in this, which was a very difficult upgrade, but very much worth it. So if you have a printer and it's very loud, I really recommend you get the silent motor upgrade. I can't remember, it was under £50 British, so it's not too expensive. Over here, this is what I'm working on currently. This is a bitch from Borderlands 2, and it is currently in the stage where the fabrication has been done. It's all been printed with that printer. Everything was printed, and it was printed in parts, and then I've glued it all together. I only use, believe it or not, I just use simple Gorilla Glue. I might switch to something a little bit more sturdy. I'll explain why later. And then I've filled it with standard wood filler like this in the little seams. That just goes in, and then it's all had a kind of light sanding over. And then the next stage is it's going to get prime filled, and this is filler primer. So this is really good for filling little tiny little bits like that, just little tiny cracks and stuff that shouldn't really be there. And then after that, I'll give it another sand over, and hopefully all these seams will be seamless, of course. And then if that's the case, it's on to painting and weathering and all sorts of stuff. And obviously with being a Borderlands 2 thing, it's going to have to get a pretty cool paint job and a lot of detail. So I'm looking forward to that. But this is probably the biggest paint job I've had to take on to date. And here is my last finished product that I made. This is a Fallout 4 laser rifle, the AER-49, I think. I can't remember the name code exactly. But this is probably my favorite thing that I've made. The reason that it's just sitting here is because it's so damn big, I have nowhere to put it. It's been painted and weathered extensively. Again, all printed on my 3D printer all the way. And I used a little Cat5 Ethernet cable there, which I sacrificed for the cause. And then the only thing that I wasn't too happy with this was the decals. These were all made on a little Cricut Joy there, but they were actually too intricate for the little Cricut Joy to handle. But it actually worked out okay, because, you know, it's okay to do that with post-apocalyptic stuff. You can afford to have it be a little bit broken looking and get away with it. But so that just sort of lives here, mainly because it's too big and too clumsy to put anywhere, and I can't really hang stuff on the walls. So that is that. What else we got? Over here, you might have noticed these already. These are Daft Punk style robot hands. I'm currently wearing one. I'm wearing the prototype. This one's a little bit big, as you can see. This finger is a little bit too big, but these are going to be the Mark 1s, or well, I suppose would it be Mark 2 if this is the prototype? We'll call that the Mark 2. This is the Mark 1 I'm wearing. These are the Mark 2s. They're on a medium-sized glove, and I scaled down the parts just a little bit. If you watch my Twitch channel, this will make perfect sense to you. If you don't, go watch my Twitch channel. Over here, this is actually the first thing that I ever made, first big project I ever undertook with my printer. It's obviously the Portal gun from Portal. And it's not perfect. It's completely robust. It's totally fine, but it's a bit difficult to lift with one hand. The only thing I didn't do with this was I did not fill any of the seams, so there's a lot of like broken seams on this. I do keep this on display mainly, but I brought it in here because I'm thinking maybe I'll get around to finishing it, because this is actually clear as well. This is like, it's kind of diffuser, but it's clear printed plastic, and there's a hole all the way through there that I could put lights up and light that up, and that's kind of what I want to do with it. And then I'll put a switch for it in there, drill a hole through that and put a switch. That's the plan for that. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I like it. For my first project, I kind of keep it around as a sort of staple that this was the first thing that I made that I was really, really proud of. So that's that. Over here, this is a Spider-Man mask, obviously, but it's been based off of the movie prop style way of making it, where this actually has a hard shell underneath the mask, and that is to see if I can show you this with one hand. Can I put it down and show you? So yeah, there's like a red cage inside this mask. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. There you go. So that's inside it, and it's all full of holes. That way it kind of maintains a shape, and if you're wanting to speak while you're wearing it, it's obviously, you're not going to get a mouthful of cloth every time you breathe in because of this cage. And that's how that works. Now this was actually going to be made for, I was going to make a full suit of The Last Stand. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you know what that is. If you're not, Spider-Man Last Stand is a really short-lived, I think it's like 3 pages of one comic, where Spider-Man goes into, sees his own future, and in that future he has this mask, which doesn't have the webbing on it, which is why it's just a plain red one, and he has a leather jacket on instead of like a kind of lycra suit that he wears. But I never got around to finishing it, and I'm not a big kind of cosplay person, so I didn't really get around to doing it. But with that said, the one thing I thought of is functionality is going to be very important for this. So these masks, these eyes are actually on with magnets. They're very strong, and there you go, you can pop that off. I need to cut holes in these, and then I'm thinking if you were wearing this at a con, if there's a hole there for you to see and then this is on, you can take a little break and just pull these off, so you're not having to, you know, look through that all the time, you know, and then they just pop back on magnetically. Pretty cool. So that's that. It's still, again, it's unfinished, and I still have to finish it, but the cage, what is that? Get off. The cage is actually pretty good because it tapers at the end there at the top, so your head will fit into it nicely. It's a bit small for my head. This is just a standard red morph mask that's on it. I would like a bigger one, but it sort of tapers off so it doesn't look like you're wearing a big plastic cage under it. It's quite well made, and it tapers off. So that just sits there, and I look at it every now and then and decide I'll finish it one day. Here next to the window, this was my biggest project I ever made. It's sitting over here because it's actually broken. It took a tumble from this shelf all the way down to the floor, which is not great, and it broke. The front part broke off actually, which is why I'm thinking of moving to a stronger glue than the Gorilla Glue, because it holds very well, this stuff, and it's very easy to apply, but it does not have good rough and tumble properties, which is a shame because this is really one of my favorite things I've ever made in my life. I'm so proud of this. It has a working trigger, and you know, I managed to weather the white to turn it into bone and stuff like that, and then I've got leather strapping and stuff, and I was really just super proud of everything I'd done with that. And then when it took a tumble, I was a bit heartbroken and then a bit disheartened to continue. For example, this was the first gen of the skull for it, and this is just printed on white, but obviously I printed it way too big. And then you can see from that just being white to going to the bone color here with all the weathering and stuff. I was actually quite proud of how I did that, so that worked out well. What else we got? We got an infinity pistol up here from Borderlands 3. This was a straight 2-part print, and this is going to be a painting project for me when I get around to it, but in the meantime it's just going to kind of live on the shelf because I start a project, I don't finish it, and I start another project, I don't finish it, then I have other things to do which I don't finish, then I have these for some other reason. I never get around to finishing stuff. I'll start it and rarely finish. But that's another paint project. Once I've painted the bits, because obviously the Infinity has a bit of a more intricate paint system with it's kind of pearlescent almost. So that'll get the treatment when I get there. And that's a little scope for it actually. Yeah. So we'll get there with that. Over here, this is the Ace of Spades, I believe, from Destiny 2. It's been a while since I played Destiny, but I actually printed 2 of these, and I gave one to my friend as a housewarming gift. He's a big Destiny fan. These were, the lucky thing about this is this was printed purely on white and black. It didn't require any painting at all. White, black with a little bit of silver there, and the barrel comes out, and you can hide stuff in there. One single screw holds that all together, and a lot of glue, of course, as well. And you know, it's I'm very proud of it for something that was so simple to make. I found the files online, gave it a print, put it together. I was really happy with it, and it sort of sparked my kind of want to make more intricate stuff, which is where I got the Juju from, because that's been all painted and everything. I've done so much to that. It started off just plain black, and then I've painted and added all the skulls and stuff like that. But this was really where that sort of started for me. When I made this so simple, I was like, yeah, I want to make more like intricate stuff from that. I'll leave that there actually. So what else? Oh, I have way up here actually, I have the Sunshot from Destiny as well. Another one of my favorite guns, and the same idea here. It was printed on black and white, and then I got my buddy who has a steadier hand than me to paint in all these lines in red, and then I sort of roughed it up a little bit just to keep it going. Again, I didn't use any filling on this, so you can still see the seams, but I can always go back and fill it now that I'm a bit more confident about it. But same thing again, the little barrel pops out and slides off on this one, but I feel like I will drop it if I do with this stupid big glove on. So that's that, and that just sort of lives up on the shelf, but we'll leave it there just now. Please don't fall. What else? Oh yeah, if you were a fan of Ghost of Tsushima like everybody else, I made this when that game was hype. And this started off black, as you can see inside, it's just black. And then I weathered it all up with a brown red sort of dry brushing to give it that really cool sort of color, and then the teeth as well. Now the thing I realized is with this plastic that you print with is called PLA, and PLA is very thirsty. So if you paint on it, these tusks and fangs or whatever were white originally, but then the PLA has drank it so much that it's gone grey. So this stays in here because I'm going to give it another run over with a white, or maybe even like a kind of bone color like I used on the Juju. And that'll be that. So that just sort of lives up there as well. So I think that is it for things that I have made. Other projects I have this, which I bought way at the start of the COVID lockdown out of boredom. This is a X-Cozer Titanfall 2 helmet, which is mid to cheap quality. It's actually not too bad, you know, it's pretty good, but it's very, I'm kind of in half a mind about it. When I got it and I saw that the paint job on it was not very great, and the visor was terrible. The visor actually, I'll get it for you to show you. The visor was like this horrible pink color, which is useless. I have a very small shop. I'm very sorry. Everything's, you know, it's a battery powered thing. I don't have the batteries in it, but it was pink. And obviously the visor is supposed to be blue, but it was pink. It lights up blue, but it's pink. So that looked terrible, especially with such an unfinished looking helmet. So what I did is I took these little cheap visors and I cut sort of template out of it to go over that. And then that'll sit over like that. And that'll get glued together, glued back in behind, glues in on the inside of the helmet in there. And then I'm going to weather the crap out of this. And I mean weather the crap out of it. I'm going to wash it with black, and I'm going to wash it with brown and dry brush black and brown into all the cracks and stuff like that. And then what I'm also going to do is, I got these recently. These are little pens that I seen on Adam Savage's YouTube channel, Liquid Chrome. So chrome you can't even read it. Liquid Chrome, these are just little pens, and you would just sort of apply these to the high spots, like all the high points and stuff. Just give them little runs over, and then it adds a little chrome effect to make the metal look weathered. And I'm going to do the same treatment to this guy when I get to that as well. So I think that is everything that I have going on in my workshop right now. If there's anything else, I will update, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, here you go. There's a fun little video if you're interested in this sort of stuff. If you are interested in this sort of stuff and you want to talk shop, just reach out to me. I love talking shop about this sort of stuff. Naturally, I don't talk about it much on stream because it's a little bit outside of the norm, but yeah, so that's it. And I am not open for commissions because I'm not confident enough to make stuff for other people on these sort of things. And as I've noticed, the Juju did not travel well from there to there, so I don't know how well it would travel in the hands of a postal service. But if you're local to me, then, you know, maybe we can talk. I was actually going to take this when it was finished to TwitchCon, if TwitchCon was going to be in London. That way I could just get on the train, but it's in Amsterdam and I can't exactly... I probably could somehow, but the legal hoops I'd have to jump through to take this through an airport and security and all that is probably not worth it. But I was going to hand this over to 2K for a giveaway if I could meet them in a domestic situation. Maybe I will in the future. We'll see what happens. I'll speak to 2K and see if they have anything like that. But anyway, I'm rambling. Thanks very much, guys, for hanging out. I appreciate it, and I will see you, and I'll see you somewhere else, maybe Twitch, whatever. Hello, world. Goodbye, world. Thank you very much. Goodbye.